Well, we just saw the most bizarre spectacle some time back, and joining me on this live broadcast for the next 10 to 15 minutes is our executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, our news editor, Deepti Sachdeva, right there from the Sabarmati riverfront, and from the Dharoi Dam, we have our Gujarat Bureau Chief, Priyanka. So, Priyanka, and of course, we have Krishna Kumar with us in our studios in Mumbai, and our news editor, Sakal, anchoring from Delhi. I just found that briefing absolutely bizarre. It was vintage Rahul. It brought back all the memories of interviewing Rahul in January 2014. Underprepared, not prepared, avoiding every question, unable to go to specifics on any subject. Only, unlike in January 2014, he was surrounded by his assistants. His answers were being completed by other people, and that's the most embarrassing part right now. Actually, Abhishek, if you ask me, what was the most embarrassing part of that press conference was the fact that you had somebody who's going to be Congress president who doesn't know what he has got to say. Every time a specific question was asked, he would duck. Now, when you are going to be Congress president and you are asked a question on quotas, which is the most important issue in the Gujarat election, you do not duck that question, Abhishek. You answer it. You don't go into some generalities and then ask, you know, the state Congress chief to answer, who gives another further convoluted answer, talking about how they are going to form a commission at some point. That would itself, you know, be strange. But why would Rahul duck every question, Abhishek? That's question number one. Ducking every question on specifics. Was he just not ready? Because twice, Abhishek, I saw others answer on his behalf. Once you had Bharat Singh Solanki answer on his behalf. Then, on a second occasion, you had Randeep Surjewala answer on his behalf. But what was the most unacceptable thing was Ashok Gehlot sitting to his right, passing him notes. There was one point when a note was being passed, Rahul looks down and remembers he has to say something. So for him to be prompted in his first press conference is beyond bizarre. It is just embarrassing. Abhishek, what do you think?
Well, absolutely defensive, Arnab. The manner in which, for example, he took the question of his temple hopping, the way he explained that he has been visiting temples earlier, and generally speaking about his connection with Gujarat, that he will keep coming back, almost like he has given it up, and says that he might visit Gujarat again when called back. So, the body language was not very confident, and it seemed that the Congress party, for all practical purposes, has given up the state.
Well, you know, Aishwarya and Deepti, I don't know if you were watching this, Deepti, Aishwarya, and also from the Dharoi Dam, I think we have Priyanka also with us. You've been watching this. I found a lack of confidence. The second point which I found strange, Aishwarya, in that press conference was the fact that he was not answering a single question. He came with the only point he kept repeating, which is again very strange. He made 17 reference to the Rafale deal. Now, you're in the middle of the Gujarat election, 17 references to Rafale deal. It's like the previous interview where I did with him. You ask him on Bofors, he'll talk about women's reservation. You ask him on 1984, he'll talk about women's reservation. Here it was, you ask him about the weather in Gujarat, he's going to answer about the Rafale deal. Did he mug up that answer? Was he repeating it, or did he lose track somewhere? What was going on there? You're laughing about it, but this is not funny. This is actually very strange.
Well, Arnab, the fact of the matter is that it seems that he was not briefed.
Rafale deal are not strange.
Well, it seems that he was not briefed on these issues. The only issue on which Rahul Gandhi was briefed by his coterie was the Rafale deal, because as you just mentioned, the man was going around the bush, beating around the bush, but not answering issues pertaining to Gujarat. When you are underprepared or when you are not aware about your own issues, this is exactly what happens. The brief given to Rahul Gandhi seems to be was only about these two issues, and that's exactly why whatever you may ask, whatever the media may ask in that press conference, defense. He was going back to the core issue, or rather trying to deviate from that core issue and come back to Rafael, because according to Congress, Rafael is the most important issue in Gujarat. So that is what Congress is doing. They are not responding back to the quota.
He is going to be made willy-nilly, consciously, unconsciously, deliberately or voluntarily or otherwise, with his consent or without his consent. Aishwarya, this man has become the Congress party president. He has to take some questions on his own. You cannot
the Congress
answer,
party needs to understand this.
No, you cannot answer.
The Congress party needs to.
No, but you cannot. You're asked a question, for example, upon the complicated caste equations, and you are told, therefore, and I don't know if Deepthi, you heard this one.
He won't answer that.
He was asked a question on caste equations, and he was told that you've gone into this election without, saying that you will not do caste combinations, but you have gone for, the patidar vote, etc. Now, that was a significant political question. His answer was that the people of Gujarat have loved me. Wherever I've gone, they've given me khakra. Now, you are asked a question on caste, and your answer is that I'm given khakra by the people of Gujarat. That's very, very strange. It is an obfuscation of the highest order, and I didn't get it. I didn't get that answer either. So he was either not prepared for this one, or he doesn't understand the local nuances, or Bharat Singh Solanki didn't come in for him.
Arnab, it's like when you have a student who's sitting for an exam and he realizes that all the questions are out of the syllabus, but his syllabus is totally something which is obviously not about the core issues of Gujarat. Now, two very important instances. I remember when he had to be corrected by his own, in his own press conference, because he was quoting those fake numbers. Rahul Gandhi was quoting those fake cotton prices. Then he was corrected by Randeep Singh Surjewala, number one. And number two, remember, when he was wrapping that press conference, he said, whenever you need me, just call me. So, what is this? This is typical language of a person who's been brought up with a belief that he's some Maibab, he's some Lord.
And the comparison, you see, Aishwarya, what will happen here after this, and I'm sure, Priyanka, you will agree with me, the immediate comparison will now be whether Rahul wants it or not with Narendra Modi. Do you think he should have avoided the press conference? Because the last few days were not going well. He looked a little disturbed at one stage when he was asked the question on, do you go to temples? Then he said, I go to temples. And he said, I went to Kedarnath. Did you not see me going to Kedarnath? And he repeats twice. Did you not see me going to Kedarnath? Now we see Abhishek is moving there. Abhishek, something happening behind you? Okay, Abhishek is moving. So Priyanka, he was looking disturbed by that question on his soft Hindutva. Do you think he could have handled it differently?
Well, yes, Arnab, it would have served him well if he had handled it differently. But of course, he could have altogether avoided this press conference because he did not really answer any of those questions that were asked to him directly. Of course, Republic TV was boycotted, so a lot of questions that we had for him were not answered. And of course, other than that, Arnab, I have been following Rahul Gandhi's campaign for quite some time, even when he had come in September and October, and he has very immediately run out of content. His speeches revolve around GST and demonetization, but there is a repetition in his speeches. He does not have anything new to add any of those speeches. He talks about demonetization when the traders are talking about GST. He talks about how the people in the caste equation he talks about, but the traders talk about GST. So there's obviously a disconnect with the audience that he was also talking about. But also there is no new content that...
You know what the point which you're coming out is that it's three areas where he lacks content are coming out. I think Abhishek, Priyanka puts it beautifully, where he says he very quickly runs out of content. It has happened in all his press conferences earlier. It's happened in that interview which I gave him. He comes in prepared on 2 or 3 points. Then he repeats it to a point of now beginning to sound extremely repetitive. Then about 5 to 10 minutes into any interaction with anyone outside his inner circle, he soon begins to repeat the 3 or 4 points over and over and over again, which is why, I don't know if you observed Sakal, but he tried to get up twice. He tried to get up twice. He said, thank you, Gujarat. I'm happy to Gujarat. I'm grateful to Gujarat. And there was this farewell note to his press conference, which was also bad, which, as Abhishek rightly pointed out, Sakal, he should not do. You're in the middle of a campaign. You're saying, thank you, Gujarat. If you ever need me, I'm going to come back. And goodbye. So there were 3 occasions when he actually tried to get up, visibly. That was really embarrassing. But Sakal, you noticed those 3 occasions when he said thank you and wanted to get up? I mean, you are on the 6th question. You've run out of content, so you want to get up from the press conference. Did you notice that part, Sakal? You've been at so many press conferences. How do you read that?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You actually nailed it right, Arnab. There was a lot of reluctance. There was this jittery, underprepared Rahul Gandhi, a hurriedly convened press conference. There was a lot of repetition, as rightly pointed out. There was this desperate attempt, Arnab, to reach out once again to the traders of Surat, Ahmedabad, teachers, youth, poor medical infrastructure, all that repetition when it comes to his poll template. That's what we saw, number one. Number two, yes, he was taking notes from his so-called seniors there in the press conference, which really doesn't send a good message. Because today, when you look back at the body of work of Rahul Gandhi in his entire political tenure, you know, he doesn't have really much to write about in terms of the number of elections that the Congress has lost in the last 1 decade or so. Number one. Number two, today he was convening that press conference in the capacity of someone who is now being looked up as the president of the Grand Old Congress Party, and much was expected today. But I think it was a poorly scripted press conference, and it ended very bad for the Congress Party, considering today was the penultimate day of campaigning.
So this
I
is,
think the electorate of Gujarat today will be very, very disappointed
This has been
with the Congress.
such a flop show. Such a flop show, this entire press conference. And it was also, I want to say this, Abhishek, that this was under very air-conditioned circumstances. Like there were air purifiers kept around the room to remove people like, you know, Republic TV from going and polluting the atmosphere by asking straight questions. So the Randeep Surjewala was the official air purifier, purifying the atmosphere. It was a very, you know, sanitized surrounding, where you ensured that only pro-Congress people and there was nobody who would be visibly asking a slightly difficult question would be allowed. And he messed up on this one. If he could not handle this, Abhishek, you noticed he was given an underhand delivery, an opportunity to take a position on the Pakistan meeting. He could have said that I do not agree with those who meet Pakistan government officials, defying or keeping away from the knowledge of the Indian government meetings at a time when there is hostility between the two countries. That would have been a continuum from his stated position of suspending Manishankar Iyer, but no, he just did not take the Pakistan question. Why didn't he? Why did he miss this great opportunity?
Well, Arnab, in fact, the whole campaign has been about missed opportunities. If you see the way the Congress campaign panned out from its very beginning, Rahul Gandhi did those, you know, crisscrossing the state, temple hopping. He would be taking corner meetings. So the Congress party did not seem like confident enough to gather big crowds, gather big rallies. A. B. The second rung of leadership only came to Ahmedabad and maybe Baroda and Surat, addressed press conferences and went back. So there was absolutely no connect with people, no outreach to the people. And it was limited to press conferences. It was limited to these kind of corner meetings. And that, in a way, poorly reflected in the last press conference, or the first press conference that Rahul Gandhi took on the last day of the campaign, when he took questions but did not take them. He tried to get up from in the middle of the press conference. He evaded the questions, and ultimately,
if this was supposed to be the gigantic mess, you know, this massive custard apple of a press conference which has been organized, has ended up becoming some kind of a rancid mishmash. I do not know why they needed to do this. What was the need, Aishwarya? What was the need, Deepthi? What was the crying need? It was going badly enough, but why did you need to do this? Why did you need to field him in a press conference? You know it is not a strong point. Now that he has exposed himself to this, these tapes will be played again and again, and they'll go all over Gujarat, and people will see how he's getting up 3 times. Right. He's not being able to answer questions. He's saying goodbye to the people of Gujarat. He's not answering on Pakistan. He's being fed notes by Ashok Gehlot. His answers are being completed by Randeep Surjewala and Bharat Singh Solanki. So why did they do this, Aishwarya? What was the need?
Because the man Because the man who's now the Congress party president, Arnab, is just too full of himself. He feels that whatever he will say will make headlines, but he doesn't understand that if he'll answer to the core issues of Gujarat with an answer on
but because
Rafael
he's got because he has got a bunch of apologists. Because he has got a bunch of apologists, I'll tell you, Aishwarya, who are today tweeting that this is a new strategy of the Congress party, that irrespective of the question, you will repeat the same answer. No self-respecting journalist would say this. A person who is an unapologetic apologist without any sense of objectivity or honest opinion would say that irrespective of my question, that politician answers in the same way, and hence that person is therefore great, or there is a strategy in it. You got to be foolish. That person is unable to answer any question of yours, which is why he's repeating, you know,
because
the Baba Black Sheep line.
That man is
this
unable
is not
to understand.
Strategy. This is
because that man is unable to understand, or not.
But these Lutyens, apologists, don't they have any sense? Don't they understand that you have an individual out here who's unable to answer questions? You are looking bad by trying to explain on his behalf. Those journalists, Aishwarya, have surrounded people like Rahul so often, maybe in the hope of another interview, if Rahul ever were to give them, that they are losing the sense of the ground. He's being unable to answer. That's the fact, Aishwarya. He is unable to answer. As Priyanka rightly said, he runs out of content very quickly. He runs out of it.
Yes. Yes. He runs out of content, or not. He doesn't understand what he needs to answer. He doesn't understand what is going to be the apt answer to any question. As you yourself said, not even one question he answered with an apt answer. Whenever a question was asked about any pertaining issue of Gujarat, he was going back to Rafale deal. So the man did not know what to answer, how to answer. Whenever he brings out facts, they are wrong. And in this press conference, and as you said, it was very conducive environment.
Yeah.
But the man is not prepared. The man does not understand. And if the man does not understand, how will he answer?
Yeah, this is so where, sum total, what happens now? Sum total of all this, what happens? Abhishek, what will happen now? Sum total at the end of this?
Well, Arnab, the campaign is over. The Congress party seems to be a little high and dry. I have been interacting with some of their senior leadership here, and they don't sound sure about themselves. They are not very sure whether their calculations would come out to be true. And Rahul Gandhi began by saying that बहुत अच्छे result आएंगे, but you're not sure whether this is for the Congress party, because the manner, as I was mentioning, the manner in which they have run this campaign, effectively it was almost like a press conference campaign, but for Rahul Gandhi's temple hopping. So that does not connect you with masses. That does not result in an outreach and communication with the masses, direct communication with the masses. Some would say perhaps Hardik Patel campaign was 10 times better than what the Congress party ran. If the Congress party think that they can piggyback on Hardik Patel, all the best to them. But the fact is, campaign is over on a day when Prime Minister has really taken this high optics route of a seaplane to Ambaji, did his temple hopping as well, come back, showcase his development projects, be it the riverfront or the Narmada waters in Daroi Dam or the seaplane. We have only a press conference, a half-baked, half-hearted press conference from the Congress party by its chief Rahul. And interestingly, the manner in which this whole thing, the whole exercise was vetted by Randeep Surjewala's team. Republic TV was not allowed, and only screened questions were taken in. That too answered in a very half-baked manner clearly shows that something is amiss in the Congress campaign for Gujarat this winter.
Yeah, which seems very strange. Well, Deepthi, finally you are standing there at the Sabarmati riverfront. The Prime Minister went. He is going to come back. The spectacle continues.
Oh yes, but I think Rahul Gandhi, Arnab, has made a big spectacle out of himself. Rent-a-cause Neta, he's been para-dropped on certain locations for certain reasons. These are charges that are sticking hard on him. And this is something, Arnab, that I've heard from so many people that I've interacted with on the ground, because they say Rahul to Pappu hai. I mean, that's actually the kind of charge that has gone on him. You travel through Gujarat, people say his campaign might have peaked too early. And as Priyanka rightly said, he's sounding very repetitive. He's raising the same issues. But when he's countered with facts, Rahul Gandhi doesn't know where to look. The reason why he stands, and perhaps wants to walk out. And interestingly, I'm not sure whether, everyone's noticed this, but today Rahul Gandhi was actually wearing a Rudraksh. So is this perhaps a new identity of, the Congress-elect President Rahul Gandhi that the Congress actually wants to portray?
Lot of nervousness, body language, shifty fingers.
Too much of that.
Yeah, it was just bad. It was just bad, Deepthi. Unavoidable, but we are now hearing here that there's going to be a press conference. So the BJP not missing the opportunity, wanting to bat back, calling for a press conference. Now, Aishwarya, at 3 o'clock, we are told, I think they're going to really go into the granular detail. I mean, it's Ravi Shankar Prasad is going to be fairly unsparing. Is that happening in Delhi or is that happening in Ahmedabad, the counter press conference?
Well, Arnab, it's happening in Ahmedabad, and then the Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad is going to tear into Congress party and tear into every answer given, every vague answer given by Rahul Gandhi. So it's happening in Ahmedabad, it's happening at the media center, and Ravi Shankar Prasad is going to literally tear into the Congress President Rahul Gandhi now. Whatever his answers may be, whether it's on the Rafale deal or his vague answers about Kakada, but the man is going to get a beating now. BJP is going to tear into the Congress party.
Yeah, and we just had we've also the whole question of his blocking the media. We have the BJP, which has just tweeted out here that Rahul Gandhi's emergency DNA shows up every time it matters. National media denied entry to his press conference in Gujarat till some of them fought and got their way in. Why is Rahul afraid of tough questions? Well, Rahul's entire approach towards the media as well becomes, a matter to think about and speak about. Sakal, you would remember that we were blocked at the Congress offices. Even right now, they've got this whole 1975 type of emergency attitude. The problem with the Congress party is they think that channels who nobody watches, with some people who are pretending to be editors who are tweeting right now that no, Rahul Gandhi is great. They're actually tweeting saying Rahul Gandhi is great. It's a strategy not to answer questions. These people should genuinely quit journalism immediately and join as some kind of a office assistant in the Congress party. I genuinely would think office assistant's job or political assistant's job or political secretary's job in the Congress party would be better for these people, Krishna Kumar. But the big question, Krishna Kumar, why were media blocked? You have a press conference, open it to everyone. Why do you want to stop people from entering? Why are you so scared? And what are you afraid of? How long will you manage this kind of a situation? How long will you manage, if you got to become Congress president, to duck and run away from the media that questions you?
Arnab, we've reached that stage in this country, the stage of evolution in this country, where something like this is unacceptable. It's not 1975 anymore. We're talking about an age of social media where nobody's opinions can be kept suppressed, nobody's questions can be kept suppressed. And you're talking about national level channels, channels with proven viewership, maximum viewership, who are just outrightly blocked. And if if that doesn't hark back to the 1975 mindset of like, oh, you know what, let's just shut them down, let's just not let them enter, and then these questions will go away.
We've seen that, Krishna Kumar, and I think now you realize, the question is that it's becoming very, very transparent. Rahul's first press conference has been one gigantic, unbelievable, embarrassing, eminently avoidable FLOP, flop, Sakal. Now what is he going to do? How do you think they'll explain this right now? There was no need to do this. Rahul is your weakest wicket. You don't put him out there underprepared. Sakal.
I think on the last day, the first shocker to the Congress party was what Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, and the BJP in Gujarat had planned a huge Vikas push. And you have the first seaplane and the first passenger happens to be Prime Minister Modi. Well, now, number two, Surjewala had to actually react to that situation. They didn't know what to do, so they come up with this very meek sort of tweet, personally choosing to attack Prime Minister Modi. Number three, I think this was again another desperate attempt by the Congress party under the leadership of Rahul Gandhi as the president to basically seal the deal here, because they knew that this is going to be curtains down for Congress in Gujarat. So let's have a press conference. Let's have a press conference, but of those journalists, which will obviously be a cozy, comfortable corner. I don't want to go back to the analysis of the presser because, Arnab, we know our viewers have seen that. But yes, Well, those journalists who don't act like PR agents, who don't hobnob with politicians after their post-primetime shift, who don't go and socialize, who only ask questions like reporters in Republic TV, they are blocked. And I can say that, Arnab here, that now for Congress, this is just a refuge. This is just an excuse. Hum Republic se baat nahi karte, so this is a very comfortable, convenient refuge that we will not be confronted with a question which any journalist who follows any political party will come up with. Today, so, yes, it's very, it's out there and open. Rahul Gandhi, I think he could have avoided that, or perhaps he could have been prepared, because this was his
and now we're going to run some clips of this press conference.
And the
big story this afternoon is Rahul ducks. So the big story is that the Rahul Gandhi press conference has been, well, what do you say? It's gone off as expected. Sometimes people expect things to change. But then, as they say, Abhishek or Aishwarya or Deepthi, you'd understand, a fantastic marketing campaign. You first got to think about the product that is there out there. Without a product, why do you want to have a marketing campaign? Rahul, the product, has not changed as a leader. That's evident from this outing. He's repeated all the rally lines over and over again. And we'll come back to this story and much, much more in some time. Hand it over back to Krishna Kumar. See you in a few minutes. This is going to be one of the biggest talking points this evening.
Yes, that's the big Rahul Ducks press conference. That's the big story that we're tracking this Tuesday here on Republic TV. Let's quickly get you a highlights of that press conference.
मैंने अपनी पोजीशन बहुत क्लियर कर दी है, और शब्दों से और एक्शन से। जिस प्रकार मणिशंकर जी ने हिंदुस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री के बारे में बोला, वो मोदी जी हैं, मगर वो हिंदुस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री भी हैं। मैंने बात क्लियर कर दी है कि इसको मैं टॉलरेट नहीं करने वाला हूं, और आपने एक्शन, आप सबको एक्शन दिख गया। जिस प्रकार से नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने मनमोहन सिंह जी के बारे में बात की, वो भी एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है। मनमोहन सिंह जी भी हिंदुस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री रहे हैं, और मनमोहन सिंह जी ने हिंदुस्तान के लिए काम किया है, कुर्बानी दी। तो जिस प्रकार से मोदी जी ने उनके बारे में बोला, दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल। नहीं, मैं, आपको याद होगा, मैं उत्तराखंड में केदारनाथ गया था। मैं जाता रहता हूं मंदिर में। ये बीजेपी की स्टोरी है कि मैं मंदिर में नहीं जाता हूं। उत्तराखंड में जाके देखिए, मंदिरों में गया। आपको याद नहीं कि मैं केदारनाथ गया? केदारनाथ गुजरात में है क्या? हमारी नॉर्मली हमारी पब्लिक मीटिंग लगती है। इस बार हमारी यात्रा लगी थी। कितने किलोमीटर की यात्रा की हमने? तो यात्रा में जहां भी मौका मिला मैं चला गया, और मुझे अच्छा लगा, बहुत अच्छा लगा।
गुजरात के अंदर पाकिस्तान का मुद्दा ले आए, मणिशंकर अय्यर जी का मुद्दा ले आए, सलमान जी का मुद्दा ले आए, तो कहीं ना कहीं लगता है कि जिस तरीके से गुजरात के अंदर चुनावी प्रचार हुआ, प्रधानमंत्री अपनी संवेदनाएं लोगों के साथ जोड़ने के प्रयास करते हुए आपको दिखे। और सेकंड क्वेश्चन मेरा ये है, क्या आप मानते हैं कि कांग्रेस अब सॉफ्ट हिंदुत्व की ओर डाइवर्ट हो गई है?
देखिए, थैंक यू गुजरात।
गुजरात के अंदर पाकिस्तान का मुद्दा ले आए, मणिशंकर अय्यर जी का मुद्दा ले आए, सलमान जी का मुद्दा ले आए, तो कहीं ना कहीं लगता है कि जिस तरीके से गुजरात के अंदर चुनावी प्रचार हुआ, प्रधानमंत्री अपनी संवेदनाएं लोगों के साथ जोड़ने के प्रयास करते हुए आपको दिखे। और सेकंड क्वेश्चन मेरा ये है, क्या आप मानते हैं कि कांग्रेस अब सॉफ्ट हिंदुत्व की ओर डाइवर्ट हो गई है?
Right, and with that, it's time to take a short breather here on the news on Republic TV. Lots more coming up on the other side on the last day of the campaign blitzkrieg in Gujarat. For now, this is Krishna Kumar signing off.